Hi, welcome to Nancy Jester Reports. Normally I would say it's Tuesday, but it's not. It's Friday, May 18th. We did meet this Tuesday the 15th, so we're going to go over that meeting as well as catch you up to date on some other things that we've had going on this week. So first I want to start with a reminder. If you're watching this before Saturday, it is the Good Neighbor Air Show at the PDK, Peachtree DeKalb Airport. So that's from, I believe it's from 12 to 5 on Saturday. So please come by there. That is such an amazing event. Bring the kids, bring the whole family. I believe there's only a charge for parking. There's no charge to be admitted and walk around and see all the things and see the air show. It's a wonderful day to come out and spend with your family. Lots of friends and food and interesting things going on there. So that, again, that's this Saturday. So if you're watching this video after Saturday, I hope that you had a great time at the air show. I intend to be there with my whole family, and I know we are all looking forward to it. It's a special day every year. Today, Friday, we did meet, and we had the commission met to have a SPLOST meeting, the special local option sales tax that started in April, that you, the voters, approved in a referendum last year, started on April 1st. So now we are going through exactly who's going to be the program manager, what's the sequencing of projects, all the different budgets for the different areas. And so I would just say the meeting wasn't that successful today. We were unable to get the itemization detail that we needed from the administration, so not a lot of progress was made there. But they got clear direction from the commission that we are looking to tie the global budget that voters approved, which had the big dollar numbers for big categories of projects like roads, multi-use trails, sidewalks, things like that, public safety. So we need now to tie those bigger categories that have larger numbers like $10 million here. Well, we need to see what exactly each of the projects are that sum to the $10 million. We had talked about some of those projects in the past, so we had some initial lists, and we're a bit perplexed why the administration isn't coming back and telling us, oh yes, here it is, and then we can talk about prioritization. So I think generally the commission is in agreement on going from a worst to first strategy, but we got to have the list, and we have to discuss who's the worst and what metrics and criteria we are using to determine worst to first. So we were all in agreement on that, as far as I could see, with the commissioners today at that meeting. So that's good. We're united on that. We just have to get the administration rowing in the correct direction with us as well. So stay tuned for more updates as we continue to have more SPLOST meetings. I think what I might do is separate my videos into regular meetings and some SPLOST video updates so you can track those two different subjects, because that's going to get more and more important, I know, as the 6 years of SPLOST roll forward. So we did meet on Tuesday the 15th. We met as a committee of the whole, where we receive the agenda and presentations and prepare for our business meeting on the following week. We went over some standing procedural rules, which was pretty dry. So if anybody was watching the video for that meeting, it's a pretty dry conversation, but nevertheless important. We have to have the rules for how we meet. The CEO had an appearance at our committee of the whole meeting, which is unusual, to present us with an agenda item he wanted to walk on, so it didn't go through our normal agenda setting process, but we accepted it to our agenda. He was quite gracious in his asking for this, and we all were in agreement that it was a good ask. He wanted to he wanted to do a change order to a contract that provides landscaping and maintenance service for county public right-of-ways, and he was very frank in discussing the lack of maintenance over the years in DeKalb, and that he felt that as the spring was here and things need mowing, things need trimming back, there's a lot more work to do than if we had been maintaining things all along. So he wanted this change order. We put it on the agenda, so I anticipate its approval next week. So that was good. The agenda was pretty typical. Most things went to be discussed in various committees, and I will talk about that now in my next section. So we had the Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee meeting, which I chair. So we had a discussion about, we had a couple of different discussions about financial policies and their implementation, and we also discussed various agenda items. We met with the DA and the public defender about staffing increases that are necessary for an additional judge for the juvenile court. You may recall from the budget we did, we expanded the juvenile court to have another judge. DeKalb is sadly the jurisdiction with the highest number of children in foster care, and as we seek to lower that number and make sure that we can provide the best situation for these children, it became clear in talking with the chief judge for juvenile court that we needed another judge because the caseload is just so high, and to be able to process these children's cases and get them through, get foster care children to permanency, get all of the different types of cases, including some criminal juvenile cases through, we needed to expand that court. So we did when we did the budget, and that expansion will take place, I believe, in September. But one of the component parts of any expansion is, well, you have to staff it with the DA's prosecutor and the public defender, and so they were not originally in that budget. So we met with them and discussed that, and we will recommend approval to the full board of that. We also talked about the need to issue a tax anticipation notice, bond, essentially. I just, as a matter of principle, do not like tax anticipation notes. They are, to me, they show that you haven't managed your cash flow very well because you've run out of your tax revenues before your new tax revenues start coming in. They are, however, quite common. I think Cobb just did a very large one. They happen just due to the property tax timing. And we're at least going in the right direction. I think in the years past we had to do a $95 million one, then a $90 million one. This year we're down at $70 million because we are doing much, much better on our management and our reconciliation of all the different assets and all the different accounts that we have. So I do give them kudos. I did vote against that in committee, and I'll vote against that as a commissioner, but we're going in the right direction, so I can give you that. Again, I just am philosophically opposed to these tax anticipation notes. So there was that. We also looked at the intergovernmental agreements, the intergovernmental agreement that we're going to have with each of the cities regarding what we call excess e-host. And I won't go into all the details about this because it's kind of technical, but we've got these in place. We anticipate another IGA will have to be signed next year going forward. This year is a kind of a short year because FLOST is only being collected for 9 months, so we had e-host for some period of the time. And again, maybe I can do a graphic where I can post on social media and post in my newsletter about what I'm talking about. But we had to agree on how those monies would be distributed to the cities and the county, and we'll have to do one for the full years going forward. So I'll keep you posted on that. And I know that sounds a little cumbersome, but that was actually quite a lengthy presentation we had in the Finance Committee to understand how that was all working. But I'll try to simplify it in graphical form for you. Let's see. So we are still holding appropriations for the SPLOST monies because we're still working out what I talked about earlier in this video, the itemization of those particular items. Let's see. I think those are the main components. We weren't able to get to one of the audit findings, but I will say this. We were going to discuss our internal auditor's, his most recent audit. But one of the things we've added to the Finance Committee is this tracking system for audits. So this is just a template. So we're going to be able to see what the recommendations were, what the management's response has been, and then tracking whether the recommendations of the audit from the findings, seeing if they have been implemented. So this will be a new report we get along with our financial report that we get monthly. Okay, so then we had our Public Works meeting. let me see if I can condense this. We still are discussing the reallocation of some bond funds within the water sewer bonds from 2011. We're still discussing the CH2M Hill contract to manage the program for the consent decree, but I think I made progress in subsequent meetings, and I think at our next meeting we will be able to vote on that. Let's see, we had just a number of sort of standard contracts that we were doing. We continue to hold the contract for some consultants with regard to the consent decree that we're not quite sure what value they've added, so we're holding that. But otherwise, we had some fairly perfunctory procurement. So I know that was a long update, but it was detailed. So I hope that you have. I hope that you found some useful information there. Also, and I should have probably started with this, if you have a topic or suggestion you would like us to cover in a separate video, or maybe in some of our upcoming Nancy Jester Reports videos, send us a suggestion. Go ahead and just email it to me, and my amazing staff has probably already put a graphic now in front of me with my email address in this video. So you can just email us anything you want to talk about, and we may answer your question in a video. So thanks for paying attention to the end, and I hope you have a great weekend. Go to the air show, or I hope you had a good time. Thanks. See you next time.